Evening and afternoon in the US, and evening here in London, and welcome to another nice quick live stream. Mohawk Forex scalping team, and markets have just closed. We've just been watching Bloomberg and seeing the end of the market today, which obviously, as it's a holiday period, I think has been trading around about 40% lower volume than obviously it usually would. But we've had some nice good moves. You can see here on our chart, we've been looking at the US 30. We've had some nice little trades today on this, nice and steady with the volume being low. US 30, as you can see, pulled out some nice wave patterns, M's and W's, which we traded on, and obviously it's just finished now on a second leg, a little bit of a pullback, and has ended pretty much bang in our neutral zone. So obviously what we're trying to do on this one, we're waiting for the upcoming API crude oil stock change news in about 26 minutes time, and with this we will take the result, we'll put an order in and hopefully get that profit once the Australian session opens in about an hour's time. So this is a nice little trade. It's in the dead zone. It's this 1 hour dead zone between close of New York and the start of Sydney. So yeah, it's quite nice. You set up a trade, and the whole idea, as the video says, is to try and get that kind of magical $200 within a few minutes, scalping in the direction of the news. I just wanted to go over the US 30, what we've been looking at trading today. It's been quite nice and smooth, some nice moves using our RSI indicator, and this system is our axe trading system. And if you want to know more about it and how to gain access to it, then you go to our website www.forex.com, and you can see how to join our VIP Discord group, join the team, and gain access to this kind of boutique system that we've created for everyone who's a member and who's interested in true scalping. We scalp here on a 3-minute time frame. Some people will use 9 minutes or 15, but we're mostly, for me, I stick on the 3-minute time frame. That's what I've been successful at. So what I focus on, of course, being consistent, practice the technique of true scalping, using the tools and using the fundamentals. That's our main thing. We're obviously fundamental traders. So this is what we were going to be looking at trading in 24 minutes time. So with the API, it is, as usual, higher than expected figure is bad for the US dollar, but will be good for the price of oil, and vice versa. So if you do decide you want to trade, say US dollar CAD, which is probably the one most linked to oil correlate, then obviously you want to be going the opposite way to the actual result. But for us, we're going to be trading actually WTI. As you can see here, we've got Texas oil. It's nice in a range at the moment, which is pretty cool. So any kind of news result, if it's a positive, we're going to look for 100 points from the position here. Kind of our trend line looks kind of perfect there, 94 points. And vice versa, if the news is bad, then obviously we'll take a sell. That should get us again look down to our support zone, about 100 points. And that's what you look for, 10 pips, 100 points. It's on Trading View. Sometimes this could take a little bit of time, but it gives you time to set up a proper stop loss. Well, that's the good thing about this. You've got levels. So if you're taking a long position from here, say on the news, obviously you can look for 100 points or to our next zone, our blue zone here, and your stop loss is going to be outside the support zone. We're kind of here for your setup if a long good news on the news result, and if it is a short, then that candle, again, your stop loss is going to be the other side of our neutral zone. Our TP is going to be down to our next support level. around about here, look, inside that zone. But you're looking at about a 1-to-1 risk to reward on both these ones because it's a nice range. You've got good levels of support and resistance that you can use as a stop loss if that's how you want to do. Obviously I take note of those levels, but I don't place a stop loss because I'm watching my chart, and I will usually get out of the trade before it hits my stop loss. But it's just in case you're going to walk away from your chart, leave this to run during the Sydney session. You obviously want to, you know, protect your account. So we'll be looking at this. Like I say, we had some trades on gold as well today. Open, we took little buys on the open.
Where does the dollar fall into all of this? Because you've listed some scenarios.
You can see gold kind of peaked at the 1820 resistance zone, backed off, range dropped again, and now we're back down to 1800 again. Just this last few months, 18 is the pure magnet that is pulling gold to, whether it goes slightly above 1820, 1830, or whether it goes down to 1745 as it did back up again. As you can see, it came all the way back up from 18 to 1820, and again that's a key level. See here our points of interest grid system here telling you it's heavy resistance zone. Our blue zone also indicates that. So if you was in any buys, this is where you would get out, because we want price to break this level, and then we're going up to 1824 and beyond. At the moment, again, it's hit this key level and has dropped again. Because it's been kind of a nice little bull period, this period between Christmas and New Year, where it's low volatility. So if there was a lot of traders who are together in one direction, it's easier to pull the market because there's less volume. And you know, overall it's been quite bullish. Just been hearing on Bloomberg that the S&P 500 everything's just backed off from all-time highs. Stocks closed mixed at the end. Just looking at Bitcoin here, which is obviously again dropped.
But I mean, again, you talk about how a lot of people were calling for kind of the death of crypto towards the end of last year, and you saw, I think, what Bitcoin was
back down to 47. Again, we could have shorted it, various different key levels here. Look, you wouldn't want to short it, and now we're looking at a kind of a W second leg, looking for it to bounce off this 47,757 zone and head on back up to our neutral point 48. If it breaks 48, then we can go back up towards the 50,000. At the moment, you can see the RSI is indicating that actually we're going to be breaking this level here and coming down a bit more, maybe retesting 47,340. Now, if you wanted to short it, obviously what you want to do, you want to wait for the RSI to break, go red, and also to break our trend line. Then you can scalp between here and here. So talking about 10,000 points. You could scalp, you could short, might go down to 29, 30,000. So this is one to watch. Well, unless we're going to get the bounce off our, you can see here our average RSI line, which acts as a support and resistance line for the RSI. It's an average. RSI does like to bounce off it. You can see that it's just done that now, just bounced up back to 46. So we could get the buy if we get a break above here, back up again to retest 48,000. So we can keep an eye on that as well. And again, you can look at this on the 15-minute time frame for, if you like. I like to look at 3-minute. Some good key levels to follow. Oil, like I say, is hovering at 76, and gold is back down to just 1805. We've got about 18 minutes till the oil news gets released. You see, Bitcoin's got a hard time trying to get back up to that level. Zoom out, we can see peaked at 52,000 for the sell off again. Profit. People who no doubt bought down here. 9, taking profit. Bought from 48. again, a range we tested again, now the drop again, so really volatile at the moment as we.
There is still such fundamental ignorance about the history of this country and the issues that were created by our history that continue to
If
haunt
it respects
all
our,
of those things aren't going to be addressed
yeah,
until we step back and begin to understand who we are.
The Legacy Museum, located
this
in
is to watch
Montgomery,
price action on.
is the manifestation of civil rights lawyer Bryan Stevenson and the Equal Justice Initiative's decades-long work of getting America to tell the truth about its past and
Let's
begin
load
the
my
process
broker
of
on oil,
reconciliation.
going in
Really
for
excited by what the
5.
States have done in terms of bringing people here, and we're very
And it's
proud
like
of the
0.5. It's basically $5.
that we could implement
$5 a
on
pip
the
is what we look at
space.
on oil.
There's so much more that we wanted to talk about.
The new space expounds upon an existing.
The whole point about his trades is, as the title says, we're trying to get in and out of the market as quickly as we can.
A lot of people came here
This might be one that we hold a little bit longer than normal because, like I said, the market is in the dead zone.
not aware that
But overall, with oil news or any of the news events that we trade, we're trying to get out with a maximum of 3 minutes traded.
cities like Boston, Newport, New Haven,
That is the goal. Stealth trading.
built
RSI 48, look.
we talk about New York City.
So you could look at taking a buy on Bitcoin here at this 47,816.
Even after the
If the RSI comes out of our neutral zone, could go all the way back up to 73. So if you bought as it broke our baseline up to the next level of resistance, you're talking 10,000
The
points.
40,000 square foot museum occupies land.
You just got to watch for your spreads. You've got to find a broker that's got low spreads when you're trading crypto on a small time frame like this. Most people will trade it on a 15 to 1 hour or a daily. You can do it on a 3 minute. It's just the spreads quite broke.
This is the city where extraordinary black people in the 1950s decided to do something to change the course of history during the Montgomery bus boycott. And we think if people come here and see us struggling, see us reckoning, see us pushing, then when they go back home, no matter where they go, they can't say, well, we can't do that in our community. Because if we can do this here, it can be done anywhere.
As waves of Black Lives Matter protests took place across the country, 2020 resulted in the most support the Equal Justice Initiative had ever received. And the first
Quick look
time,
at
corporations and businesses
commas.
donated as well.
Use,
Our base did expand,
as we said, S&P 500 just come down from its high.
reflecting.
Next tumble, all climbs awaiting
They have failed to
final data release, which is what we're waiting for here. So news.
and George Floyd and others has not been addressed.
So over the past year, we've seen a lot of
API numbers released
reckon.
each Tuesday.
You have Evanston, Illinois, passing its form of reparation.
A precursor to the official weekly inventory data due each Wednesday from the EIA, the Energy Information Administration.
Yeah, I'm very
Tomorrow, and this week's release will be the last one for this year. That's why it's quite
for the federal government to do
important.
something, because these issues are local, and I just think our failure to articulate a vision.
Again, if it declines,
is really
then obviously the price should go
I
up. So
think in the
let's.
civil rights and the human rights context,
So we'll
we
see.
haven't really talked about remedies, and I don't think it's wrong for us to say we're going to create pathways to education and achievement for those communities that are designed to repair the decades of deprivation and denial that we created.
Encouraging Americans to acknowledge that past can be a powerful tool for progress. And Stevenson hopes the museum is doing just that by leveraging history's ability to shape the future.
Without diagnosis, there is no treatment. Without knowing that we had a virus circulating around the world, we wouldn't have done the things that have saved a lot of lives. That's the moment we're in right now, and that's what this museum is about, helping us name these issues and identify these issues so that we can get to treatment.
It's slow on crypto. The movement on a small time for you'd expect it to be fast, quick, but this time of year it's not.
The path is gilded with the potential for rich returns.
And you're not taking any trades at the moment on the. Markets have ended. So the NAS, yeah, took a massive tumble.
What do we know and what don't we know? Because there's a lot of speculation, a lot of anecdotes circulating right now.
Omicron definitely has the characteristics to create us concerned for many reasons. But also we have been preparing for a moment like that for months right now.
News as well.
And, I feel comfortable that the playbook will work. So what is the playbook? One, it is to understand more about this virus. The second, of course, will be to protect against infections. And the third is to treat. Let's take it to the other to understand. I think there are a few things that are very clear.
In Doge,
One, it is the clinical manifestation.
26 billion.
Is it creating more severe disease or not?
Solana's now number 5,
Is it going to
taken over from Cardano, which has slipped.
Things that, as we see clinical cases coming out and the numbers are getting bigger, that's something that we will know in few weeks.
Right now, about half of U.S. households invest. We'd like to get that number up to 95+%. Investing should be as ubiquitous as shopping online. It should just be something that people do.
This is Bloomberg Markets, special markets coverage this week, a global simulcast on Bloomberg Television.
17 still way down again. Long way to get
here, of course, covering all the data
level of 20 cents.
A look back at 2021.
Sure it will.
Look ahead to 2022 as
the whole.
Well, here are your numbers here on the day. The S&P 500 closing down by about 0.1%, 4786. It did actually trade above 4800 for the first time ever at one point during the session. NASDAQ Composite down about 0.6%. The VIX, interesting, keeps moving lower here. Right now at about 1754 here. So despite all the turmoil that we've had this year, the VIX actually at one of its lower points here of the year and actually below its long-term moving average, which is right around 19 to 20.
About 9 minutes to go. So the news is
That's your Bloomberg
loaded up.
Index.
Broker.
Higher here on the day, but really interesting story here on the year.
Good.
Up about 5% here, and this is the first time we've seen that type of strength. We haven't had any strength.
Let's see what we get.
Last couple of years, but that's actually
So tomorrow we've got the EIA.
I believe 5 or 6.
We'll be live for this again. Volume's going to be low, but it's still, you know, you can still get some nice little trades with it because the volume is just, everything just moves a bit slower. But we've still got goods trades balance news tomorrow, and we've got the retail inventories, pending home sales, and obviously oil. So all this we will trade tomorrow. So we should be live for a couple of hours or so. Trade all this. This will kind of be our final live stream of the year. Might trade this on Thursday, Chicago PMI. And that's it for this year, for 2021. We're looking forward to 2022 already, getting more people on board, joining the team, learning the art of true scalping and using the economic calendar to get your pips. Bitcoin, there you go. Look, see, now here's where you'd get in, possibly on a buy. Look, from here, and you can scalp from here, next level, like 8,000. Those small moves. One's just to practice how to use the grid system.
Cases, of course, hitting a daily record of more than 1.44 million yesterday. We welcome Bloomberg Quick Takes, Madison Mills. Hey, Maddie, throughout the pandemic, we've looked to other parts of the world.
About 76.
Here to the UK to get an idea of what they're going through. Essentially, could be what we're going through in just a few weeks. What's the latest that we're seeing out of the UK when it comes to hospitalizations?
Yeah, thank you, Tim. So finally getting some good news that I can share with you today out of the UK. Health officials there are saying that it looks like the amount of time people are staying in the...
Thank God for that, yes. Doesn't look like hopefully we're going to have any more restrictions in the UK, which will be good for the markets and everything.
That's a data point that we really need to focus in on is the hospitalizations here. But people
okay, we've got 7 minutes to go.
Hospital for an average of about 3 days. That's down from 5 days throughout the majority of
like I say, you can trade gold with the oil, of course. Here, look, it's all on trading view.
All we
gold, you will go the same way as the oil. It's the reverse of the US dollar, of course, the correlation. So if the news is good, we should be looking at a buy. And I'm not giving financial advice or telling you how to, I'm just saying how I do it. But I will focus purely on the actual oil WTI itself. And it's going to be a nice level here. The buy is going to break this level, so we've got a chance of 108 points. Look. The arrow on board here.
Maddie, let's talk about the breakthrough.
Suggest it's going to be a buy because I don't know as much as anybody, but so I can put it for back testing afterwards to show everybody the result. Win, lose, or draw, as I say. If it's good news, we'd get a move up, and if it's bad news, obviously we're going to go down to touch our trend line. Looking at again, it's good. We're covering 100 points either way. You can get out at 50 if you're a bit more risk off and trading. 5 minutes to go. Should be able to get 100. I mean, yeah, technically you want it to be a buy to push up and touch this resistance zone again. That would be perfect. As we know, the market doesn't always work like that.
Kind of where we were in 2020, and of course the response by government officials and corporations for that matter was basically just shut it all down. And we're really not seeing that to the same degree this time around. I think there was just an announcement for those folks in New York City that the schools they're going to start on time come January 3rd, I believe, here. So there seems to be a little bit more sense, a little bit more resilience here that we kind of have to push through this and learn to live with this.
Yeah, you know, and Romain, I'm so glad you bring that up because we've learned so much about how to contain this thing in effective ways without having to go back to a full shutdown. And that messaging is going to be really important for making sure that people don't get what's called pandemic fatigue. You don't want to put people in a position of having to adhere to public health measures, things like walking through a grocery store in a specific arrowed line, if you all remember when we had to do that. That's actually not effective, and it makes people less likely to wear a mask.
And no one ever paid attention. They always went the wrong way.
Exactly. Because you're like, I'm already in an extreme panic attack over this virus. I can't also pay attention to the arrows in my grocery store. It's just a lot for people to take on. So with regards to the school situation that you bring up, Romain, they're doubling down on testing. They're not going to make
76.
Someone test positive in their classroom and they don't have symptoms. So just making those adjustments is really important considering the longevity of this virus.
Pandemic fatigue. I mean, we're entering year 3 of this pandemic. I hit pandemic fatigue back in 2020, guys. Hey, a big thank you to Bloomberg Quick Takes Madison Mills for giving us the latest on the virus, not only here in the United States, but around the world as well. Well, we talked about Bitcoin moving lower today and seeing quite the sell-off since hitting a record high just a couple of months ago. We're going to get into all things crypto in just a few minutes. Graham Jenkin of CoinsList is going to talk all things Bitcoin. You're listening to Bloomberg Radio. You're watching us on Bloomberg TV and on...
Be interesting.
This is Bloomberg.
What is your own view now on whether the racial situation in the United States, because of examples like Freddie Gray or George Floyd, have gotten worse when you were growing up, or do you see any progress being made?
Yeah, I mean, I see the potential for progress being made, and the potential for progress being made is the fact that we're now understanding and talking about this as not just isolated incidences, but we're understanding the longevity and the lineage.
3-4 minutes to go.
That the damage of George Floyd wasn't just the fact that we watched a homicide on camera, but it was the fact that his name gets added to a much longer lineage of names that
that was a false break. You didn't break that key level.
It comes down to the fact that
shot straight back down again. Bounced off. Even though it was green, it didn't break our baseline. So you need to wait for it to break our baseline and finish. Candle, then you'd be insane. It didn't look it spiked above it, finished below it. Now it's breaking down. And again, it's the opposite now. If the RSI breaks our average line here, heads on down, then we're going to be selling.
It's race.
See the kind of pattern it's tried to pull back a little.
Without disaggregating the importance of it. And so I think that the platform for progress is the fact that we are now having a mature and an honest conversation about what
is going to go back down.
Move into a better space and a place where we're watching not just oppressed populations who are demanding justice.
To 48.
That's the power of this moment.
Many
this pattern.
Men of your age or older have told me of their own life experiences where they were stopped by police.
Keep that on there. It'll be interesting to see while we trade the oil.
To them, certainly. Have you had those?
So we've got just over a minute to go until we get the result. Remember the result with this, it hangs for quite a while. You'll see movement in oil. You'll see the candles move before the result is announced. That's the way it always is. Don't panic, don't worry about it, let it do its thing. Wait for the result and then place your pending order if you want to do pending orders, or live trade if you can do live trade, and let it ride. Like I say, don't worry, it always lags. Again, I just don't go in on the candles because I see the candle go up green or down red. I don't go buy or sell because it can be manipulation. You can get caught out. You might think, oh, the candle's moving up green. Oh, it's good news. And then you look at the news, it's bad. And you can crap when you're caught in a trade going the wrong way. So just wait for it to. There's no panic with this one because, like I say, it won't come into fruition probably till the start of the Aussie session. It might do. We've got 30 minutes till the start of the Sydney session, but we're on the countdown now. Got about a minute to go. Just counting down, 50 seconds or so. Loaded up our broker. Yep, we're on. And with IC markets now, I'm still can trade, in this dead zone with oil at the moment. Even if it closes, I'll be in the trade. I'll just hold it. Okay, let's go. Let's see what we're going to get. Movement with a candle look. For a few minutes. Little dip. Destiny worse than expected. Who knows? Yeah, I don't enter a trade based on this. I'm just waiting for post. Where you get the volume because everyone does the same thing, you see.
Is the European energy complex.
The European energy complex has been incredibly fragile for a number of months now, and it just seems to just keep
look at gold.
With new crises.
He hasn't really done much right on a support zone anyway, so minus 35 looking to dip. Might dip down to 29 if the news is worse than expected.
People return to the office and want to work from different places.
Yeah, so it's the new Apollo. I think flexibility is the name of the game. When it comes for us in our business, I think that we've really preached the mantra of flexibility. I think we've proven throughout COVID that it's highly effective. In fact, if you look at the bottom line, I think more effective than we've ever been in our history through a flexible work environment. So as we
watch.
head back to the fall,
It ranging around, but again, it's small moves because it's the lack of volume. Oil is still a good one to trade, even in holiday periods where you can.
And I think businesses that just want to go back to the way things were are missing a huge opportunity to learn from what's gone on over the last 18 months.
Go. It's worse than expected. So.
Engine number one was able to do on the Exxon fight. It
Get in there, see what we can do.
I guess the power that smaller investors can have. And I'm curious.
Again, it's going to be a slow mover, but
look at what you did and use that is either a template or maybe just some sort of guide as to how they can sort of approach their relationships with other companies.
We founded the company in Engine Number One on the idea that we take the data, not ratings.
Thing is, you don't have to panic. There's no rush on these trades. I'm just setting
the environmental, the climate, the social, worker data, and we simply use it
and let it manipulate and go against you. Obviously, it always does.
period of time. And so if you think about it that way, you own these companies. Everybody that owns the company, whether you're a big institutional investor,
So what we're going to want to see is
you own the company. You have a voice. You have a vote every year.
Yeah.
And
down
so
to here. You see,
is to use the vote and engage with these companies over time.
my
It's always been the case. I mean,
from
listen here.
100 from here. About there, look, where we go.
Welcome back to special markets coverage on Bloomberg Television, Bloomberg Radio, and on YouTube. I'm Tim Stenevec, joined by Kriti Gupta and Romain Bostic. Well, Bitcoin continuing to extend its losses, deepening that December decline. The crypto trading below 48,000 at just around $47,700. How's the crypto going to fare in 2022? Well, Graham Jenkin is CEO of CoinsList and joins us now to discuss. Graham, great to have you with us. CoinList it's a crypto platform where people can buy, they can trade, they can earn crypto. You've got more than 6 million users in more than 170 countries, so you're the perfect guy to talk to when it comes to explaining Bitcoin's wild price movements that we've seen in 6 weeks, down close to 30% from its highs in November. Why?
Well, you know, Tim, the arc of history is long, and you know, Bitcoin at the start of the year wasn't doing so great, and it's actually kind of over the course of the year increased pretty nicely. So there's lots happening in the world. Who knows day to day? But I think over time, Bitcoin ends up being a pretty superior asset.
You know,
to
rain going to be on this support zone. We might only get 50 points. We might only get down to here. Really kind of spike to there.
I guess all of the various use cases for it beyond just as a speculative asset here.
Yeah.
How far along?
You've got to go with what it is, and if that's the level of support that's going to bounce off, then that's where you're going to go with against you to start.
It's I think what's not really that clear
So
to the world at large.
we'll wait and see. We can always add in more cells at the top as well.
Ethereum with this whole bucket of technologies, blockchain and cryptocurrency, is that there's really a revolution.
Size 63 reached a high of 64 before you rejected. And if you see there, you've got some bearish divergence of candles 1, 2, 3,
all of the software
5,
verticals that were built over the last 20, 30 years in the internet age, whether it's search, e-commerce, social,
wait and
all
see.
of those verticals are being attacked by
So we'll leave oil running. Say that's going to be into the Australian session.
See that continue 2022.
We've got 30 minutes till that.
A little bit about how you market to an individual that is still concerned about that volatility. Yes, you can make these massive gains, but you can lose them too. And a good chunk of the essentially new investor base, the newest generation entering the world of investing, well, they're not necessarily looking at
Ranging
stocks.
now.
They're looking pretty primarily at cryptocurrencies. How do you market to someone who might be the polar opposite of that?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Well, I mean, I think part of the way to talk about it might be in terms of talking about the price of the US dollar and how that's changed over time. I think a lot of people focus on Bitcoin price, but there aren't as many people that focus on the price of the US dollar. You know, at one point, USD bought 100 Bitcoin. Now, one USD buys 0.00002 Bitcoin, and it continues to decrease in value. So I think that's part of the way that you tell the story, you know, especially with respect to Bitcoin. You're talking about an asset that is somewhat inflation resistant, at least over the long term. So I think that's a good way to talk about it.
Hey, Graham, I want to go back to what you said about the underlying technology here, because it's a term that
You see, it's spent a lot of time now in that neutral zone. And no real movement. It's this center W where we always get this kind of ranging. See, so might our breakout zone, the dotted. So that's where I only bed come down and bounce to before we get a push up. And this is back to our kind of daily pivot price, our neutral resistance point here. So this is the one at 48.3. 13. It's going to become a buy. So it's still extending its losses as saying.
Lend assets, borrow assets with that intermediaries. So that's out there. I think a big part of the reason why
Down 3,000.
been broader impact in the ways that you're talking about is that it's still a nascent technology, and you know, frankly, a lot of the teams that are building these applications, they aren't as focused on user experience. You know, these are computer scientists, or in the case of DeFi people, they're basically like crypto bankers. They're not necessarily known for focusing on building great user experience. And I think what we're seeing in the gaming vertical actually starts to move in that direction. Games actually need to be great from a user experience standpoint. And so the user interfaces, the overall user experience that are going into games right now, they have to.
So I can just show you how you're taking the trades on, again, using the RSI, standalone, hold today. Got your trades, you're scalping.
But your point is taken here. Talk a little bit about the role of
Use this last period.
All year long, we've been talking about potential new regulations, at least here in the United States and as well as in Europe, and now even the potential idea that some central banks might actually want to create their own sort of, I guess, stable coins, if you will.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think a lot of people
again,
what's going on in El Salvador as being potentially a template. You know, I'm not really thinking that the U.S. Congress, the U.S. government is going to follow the leadership of El Salvador in a crypto. But I think what they're doing is really interesting in terms of building all the infrastructure to enable seamless Bitcoin transactions.
Crosses back down again,
I think
6.
That's really exciting. You know, in the U.S., there's actually a lot of great.
Time it crosses the average line, comes back out again. You want to be looking at trade. Doesn't go green there, so no trade there. Aggressive here, look, but yeah, you come out of the zone. Then we would go in here, and it crosses our average line. Because it didn't cross it, and then obviously here now, look. Oh.
In the long haul,
expect with the all news. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 trades just based on the RSI. Now you sync that with the price action. And you go, okay, you wouldn't enter there. You'd enter on that one. It broke baseline. Again, wait for the end of the chart.
It becomes a little more challenging for DeFi applications.
Pips on that one. Again, you just scalp it till the support zone. So only like 4 or 5 pips, but it's a winning trade. Again, as soon as you see these blue support and resistance zones, they're you know, they're good. Well, they're strong zones indicating strong chance of price reversal, which it does look before it breaks. So this would be just do a quick scalp, but you'd win on that one. Same again, you go back in again on here, look, exactly the same scenario, and just take profit on the blue zone. Again, in on that candle close, look. Again, another 50 points on that. Then you get your next trade here. Would you enter on this one again? You could do and go in again. Again, you'd just do again the 5 or so. There you go. And then finally the third one would be an automatic entry. Full candle. This one here you'd probably hold for price action is a bigger candle. 100 points. It's a bigger candle than the last 9 or 10, so that would be a good force. Three small trades, one bigger trade there. Sell again on here. Again, you'd hold this one and do a multiple entry because it wavers up. Look, you go 1 pip down, then you're up, and then you're holding, you're going to go for again 100. You can hold all these trades. Look, just go 50 because what the market is being, you know, I would only do 50 because it's a slow moving market. It's end of session, it's just an hour and a half ago. So 50 points, look, you do it and you get 50 points on that trade. And then you would, this one here, look, would you enter on this trade here? Let's have a look. The answer is you enter this one, look, because you've got a clear gap. You wouldn't enter on this one here because you're sat right on the trend and there's no break, look, and in fact it doesn't break it at all. So, and look at the price action. This is where I'm talking about trading price action along with TA. You know, look at the candles, they're very small. You know, this one here, you might not take that one, but you would probably have a go at next one, bigger one. This one here, it's sat, it hasn't broken a key level, it's above our baseline. That would be a no trade. Here, Yep, candle closes look perfect. Again, 50. Time of day it is. Yeah, no. And then this one here again, you might not take that one. I would take it. I would just scalp it to the support zone. Again, would be another 50 points. And then where we are now. Again, I wouldn't take this one, probably because of the time of day, but just for the sake of proving my point, you would take this one. It's sat right on the points of interest, so you wouldn't take that trade. Just sat on a support. It's trapped between two zones, so that would be a no trade. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 small wins, even in a low trading market. Shows you, using RSI in conjunction with price action and our baseline, using our grid system as support and resistance.
One historian traced the traditional longhouse format from Yoruba peoples who were enslaved in Africa and transported to what is now Haiti. The massive slave revolt that ended with the Haitian Revolution in 1804 brought many thousands of freed and enslaved black people to New Orleans. The sudden influx created a housing shortage. Free black people were in a position to buy or build their own homes, and many built the earliest shotgun houses. No single architectural style encompasses the house. There are Greek Revival shotguns and Federalist style shotguns. There are shotguns with hip roofs and gable roofs. Some feature
Oil is about in the same position, hasn't really done anything. We're in the same. We're down about $40 at the moment, so we'll just wait. Stay there. Your line, your level. So we'll leave that running into the Aussie session, and we'll see the result later on. But yeah, here, look, these here, these 5 pointers, 5 pips, are still going to be $20-30 each one. So 1, 2, 3. So there is your $200 in the space of what, 2 hours. It just shows you the power of it. If you just stick to the routine, you stick to the formula, you stick to the system, using the RSI with price action, and obviously trading with the economic calendar as well. Quite say, look, right now, so it could be coming down. This is a heavy support zone. If it does, that's as far as it's going to drop, as far as I'm concerned. Today, at least. Having a pushback.
Today, people are still building and renovating shotgun houses all over New Orleans, with many of the original features, and one more modern one, a hallway.
Stuff. Right, we just wanted to do a little live stream. We're going to do a bigger one tomorrow. Obviously, say we'll do 2-3 hours tomorrow. But I just wanted to show that how you can still trade news events, even though it's really slow. We haven't got a result yet. Still waiting. What trend line break look now? Would be good. But just just shows you how you can do it without panicking, because it's not all about speed on a small time frame. Say we're in the dead zone, everything's nice and smooth, and again, from here, I told you, took a short. There, look.
Up front, when your shares are down 20%, it's going to hurt.
And stop loss, so it's going to be a there. That's the kind of setup we're rocking with at the moment. There, it doesn't matter what the percentage is. There's 2 to 3, 2 to 1, 3 to 1. Doesn't really matter. It's what it is, and that's what the key level is. If price breaks this key level, obviously I'm out. going to lose, 14 pips, risk to make 10 pips. That's just the way it is, Get out before that, and we'll get out if price touches that zone. But also it can bounce off this and hit your target, so you want to be above that key level. See how this plays out during the Aussie session. Like I say, watch Bitcoin, oil. So I had to sell off. It's got to break this range it's in at the moment. We'll be back tomorrow for more live streams. Hope that was just a quick refresh of our axe trading system and how we use it in conjunction with the fundamentals. But thanks for joining me. Like I say, go to the website www.mohawkforex.com for more information and how to join the group. And everybody, and I will see you on the next live stream tomorrow. Till then, trade safe, take care, see you soon.